Right, today we are going to talk about a documentary that has been all over social media.
Or is it mockumentary?
Well, it's the Game Changers one, okay? The one that's basically telling us all about purported benefits of following a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
Okay, really well made documentary, okay, looks great, loads and loads of famous people in there, and you can sort of see, it's very, very convincing in how it sort of sets things out.
Definitely.
But if you start to look into it a little bit more, it throws up a few questions.
Yeah, I definitely think if I didn't have the education on nutrition I had, I would definitely be convinced by it, just by the level of people that were in it. And the way it was
filmed. Schwarzenegger, you got all these athletes.
Massively influential, so I think I would have come away feeling like that, and that's what they've done, so it's great. But I think, go on.
We want to sort of like clear up some of the fallacies that are in it, okay? We're going to start off with very, very beginning. They talk about
gladiators.
Big, strong gladiators.
That's it, 'cause we've all seen things like Spartacus and all the gladiator films where, exactly, gladiators are purported to be like these heroes. They're there like fighting in the arena and they seem to be like these big, strong characters. Now actually, if we get down to reality, what you'll probably find is that gladiators were slaves. Yep. Prisoners of war, people that were dragged as slaves are either put out to work in the fields or they were put in the arena to fight, just for people's entertainment.
Yeah, for entertainment.
So it wasn't really for their benefit, they were going to die anyway, so literally they felt the cheapest food possible, well they are, unless they were Spartacus, and basically that would have been grains probably, the cheapest thing they could find. There's also some talk about the fact that if they were fed meat, they became too strong, so they didn't want that. They wanted them to be maybe not quite as...
Yeah, got to be more subdued and less aggressive.
So so gladiators, that's the reason that they found when they did tests on the bodies, they found there was like... Rubbish, yeah. They tested them and found there was like they were vegetarians. There's a reason for that. They were forced into it. Yeah. Meat's expensive, really, and they weren't going to give it to slaves.
Meat's expensive, potentially a bit sparse. You know, vegetables and grains are more sustainable.
Yes.
More quantity of them, so cheaper. Give the slaves a cheaper food at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Rather than giving them that expensive meat.
Yeah, just give them some energy so they can fight. That was literally it. Yeah. One of the big things that makes this programme so good, like we said, is the athletes they had, and they got some really big names in there. One of the the two big names that probably stand out to us, people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Nate Diaz. So
yeah, definitely.
Obviously, they made it out so Nate Diaz, it's because he's vegetarian that he beat Conor McGregor. Well, actually,
vegan,
yes.
Plant-based.
Even though we know he did eat fish.
Yeah, he eats a lot of fish. Like he even says himself, you know, he follows a diet. He loves fish. You can search on Google for it, it'll come up straight away.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so
let's get real, Conor McGregor is still a world-class athlete.
And
just because he lost to him once.
Yeah, he's got nothing to do with the fact that he ate steak every day or whatever they said in that documentary.
Yeah, that's right.
And don't forget that Conor McGregor beat him in the rematch as well. Round. Okay, there's so many other variables that go into fighting beyond just diet.
In fact, it's quite embarrassing they brought that up. So he just beat him once, so that's because he's a vegan.
Yeah, because he's vegan power!
Yeah, exactly. It's just cringe actually when you think about it.
And you've got the strong man called Patrick, I'm going to pronounce his second name wrong, but it's Babumian or Bamboo,
that's
whatever, saying how he packed on like 20 plus kilos of muscle as soon as he went vegan.
Was he doing steroids? I mean, what speculation?
Yeah, it's one of those things like strong men, you know, it's untested to start with. You can't rule out things like performance enhancing drugs in that scenario, but it's the same as like with the Nate Diaz thing. You've got all these other variables,
and you've got a load of strong men that are also eating meat and also world class.
Eddie Hall, all right, eats meat, fucking world's strongest man.
Exactly.
And you've got all these fighters as well as like Conor McGregor that are world class that eat meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's a non-argument, isn't it?
You've got that cyclist who's the oldest medalist in her competition.
Right.
Who followed a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
But then you've got her two teammates. You don't know if they follow plant-based
diet. No, I mentioned that bit. Yeah, that's true.
That bit. Or all the other numerous cyclists like Chris Hoy and everyone else who's done really well at the Olympics and medalled and eaten meat and vegetables.
Yeah, amazing, really. I mean, the big one was Arnold Schwarzenegger, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's the big convincing one that everybody, especially people who are into weight training, bodybuilding, and enjoy meat would look at that and think, oh wow, well if Arnold does it, it must be right. That's the problem. I mean, look at he built his career eating meat. He built his muscle eating meat and taking other things.
He's like the most famous steroid user of all time. Yeah. The most famous meat eater of all time.
Yeah.
But now he's purporting vegetable diets way better for your cholesterol. Well, steroids have a negative effect on your cholesterol, so you can't rule that out.
No. I think the thing is, all these people, they clean up the diet, they take out the meat, but they also probably clean a lot of the processed food out, so they probably would feel better. I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, Arnold smokes cigars as well.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's just, there's so much hypocrisy.
Other stuff that could affect it beyond just your diet.
Yeah, I mean, that's major hypocrisy with Arnold, isn't it? But yeah. So yes.
A lot of hypocrisy.
A lot.
One other thing the documentary does well is it gives you a load of experiments that sort of...
Oh, scientific ones?
Yeah, really scientific, that prove that following a plant-based diet is better for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one they get 3 American football players from the Miami Dolphins, and they give 2 of them meat-based burritos, and 1 of them a bean-based burrito. Then they take blood sample, whiz it all up to separate the plasma and the red platelets and everything else, and then they want to look at the clarity of the plasma, and then they do the same thing, but they all eat bean burritos. Okay, and then they want to monitor the effects it has on the plasma, and lo and behold, when you eat a bean-based burrito, your plasma is a lot clearer, it's got a lot less fat in it. Well, that is just obvious.
Yeah, that's what your body's supposed to do. Like, it takes the fat out of the meat into the blood and it carries it somewhere, because that's what blood is, a transport system. That's what it's supposed to do. So we're not gaining anything from that experiment.
There's so many other variables in there, like how much had they slept the night before? What was the actual content of the burritos in terms of macronutrients? How many calories are in it? How much fat was in it? How much protein? How much carbs?
There was probably hardly any fat in the bean one, actually. Any bean you would have thought, but there's so many variables, like you say.
Stress, sleep, alcohol consumption, genetic factors, history of health in the family.
There's loads of stuff.
So much, so you cannot generalise off a study on 3 people, an uncontrolled study, to yourself. No. You just can't do it. It's not possible.
No.
It looks good, but as soon as you delve into the logic behind it, all falls apart.
It does. And the other experiment we're going to talk about was also similar situation. 3 young lads, football players again.
Yeah, football players again.
So this is the one that will have really caught people's attention, because obviously it was measuring, male libido. It's completely playing on male insecurity. Because what they did, the same again, was it burritos again?
Yeah, it was burritos.
Meat burritos, vegetable burritos, and then but the first night was the meat-based meal, and then they put these little sensors on their male parts. They slept the night, and then what they did is they measured the quality of the erection and the number of erections over the night.
So like the length,
I don't think I went to the length, but anyway, we'll just move on. Then the second night, obviously they had the vegetable-based meal and did exactly the same thing. Yeah. And then on the second night with the vegetable-based meal, some of the lads were getting like 500% better erections, And it's like, well, have you thought about the fact that maybe the first night they've gone to bed with thingies around their private parts and maybe they couldn't sleep? Second night they've got used to having it there, and then they're catching up on a night's lost sleep, so they slept better. Again,
so
too many variables.
You don't know what else they've done for the rest of that day.
No, it's a really poor experiment. And the guy that even took the experiment said it wasn't scientific.
You cannot. He said it's not scientific.
So why show it?
So then that just completely invalidates it straight off the bat.
It did,
Like, the experiment's absolute shit.
Yeah, that was a really poor one. Because they should have really done it. They shouldn't have told them what they were eating, or they shouldn't have told them. They should have done more of a blind experiment, so they didn't know what was going on, or repeated it the other way round.
Repeated it, more participants.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just looking at male athletes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just rubbish.
Yeah, it was just rubbish. It was just a really poor experiment. You can't do that sort of thing with 3 people.
No way.
No. I think one of the other massive glaring things out of this is the fact that the main list of characters in the programme had... The cast. All of them, you look at them individually, have got a major agenda. The first one, I mean, the executive producer, everyone respects this guy. James Cameron has done loads of huge films.
Aliens, Avatar, Titanic.
Yeah, now he, would you believe, owns a $140 million pea processing plant. which he produces like, I guess, whey proteins and stuff from peas.
Pea proteins.
Pea proteins, so yeah, a massive agenda with that.
Like, he is heavily, it would be in his interest if people were to go plant-based, because more people would then buy plant-based proteins, which he sells. So
obviously you want to put the scare tactics on us, because it's going to be profitable for him.
Then you've got Arnold, okay, he's involved in a vegan supplement business now.
Yes.
Lo and behold, all of a sudden, veganism's great, everyone should go vegan, buy my supplements.
Yeah, so there again, another agenda there. The list of doctors in it, which we don't know all the names, a lot, but a lot of them have their own. They've all got their own books on heart health relating to
plant-based diets.
Yes, basically.
There's that guy who does a plant-based cooking course.
Cooking course, that's right, yeah.
Like, it's like that study where they talked about breakfast being the most important meal of the day and it being paid for by Kellogg's.
Yes, exactly.
They want to prove that veganism, plant-based, whatever, is better because that will directly... It's a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
it is a massive conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Okay, which you cannot get away from.
No, you can't. You can't get away from that. There was no one on the cast really who, well, obviously there was no one who had any interest in the meat industry at all.
They didn't talk about. At one point they talk about how lettuce has got more antioxidants than eggs. Obviously it's got more antioxidants than eggs. But what about the fact that eggs have got plenty of good cholesterol in them?
Yeah.
Salmon's got loads of good omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for your brain and everything else.
At this point, we might as well mention the fact that they talked about the fact that, was it peanut butter sandwich had more protein than eggs? Well, we've sort of worked that out, haven't we? And to get a peanut butter sandwich is the same amount of protein as 3 eggs, you'd have to eat like a 600 calorie meal, which, I mean, compared to 3 eggs, how many calories in an egg?
I don't know, about 100?
Yes, I mean, it just, you can't compare the two. You can't compare the two.
Not say, the documentary missed out on, the actual benefits of a plant-based diet. You can get enough protein following a plant-based diet, okay? It could potentially be a little bit better for the environment because it's more sustainable farming practices and so on, okay? The benefits of like antioxidants, minerals, vitamins that are contained within vegetables.
We're not disputing the fact that vegetables are good for you, but we're also not saying...
Meat's bad.
Yeah, they're trying to argue as well that we weren't evolved to eat meat. Well, I don't really get that, because they were saying things like, we've got flat teeth, that means we don't eat meat, but we haven't. Our back teeth have got a lot of serration on, haven't they, to eat meat. Also our metabolic process, why have we got the enzymes to digest meat? Why have we got all the processes in our body to digest meat if we're not designed to eat it?
It just doesn't ring true, does it?
No. Why do we have to be one or the other?
Yeah, that's it. It's a complete false fallacy.
It is.
It's not, you go plant-based and you obviously you are not going to get cancer or cardiovascular disease, whereas if you eat meat, you are going to. Why can't you just do both?
I think with a lot of experiments, these are like what they call this healthy user bias, where they find that a lot of people turn to plant-based, they also cut out a lot of crap in the diet and then become healthier. Well, it might not be just because they removed meat, it's because they took a lot of the rubbish out of the diet and just became more aware of what they ate.
And they're eating a more balanced diet.
Yeah.
They're eating a more balanced diet.
Maybe exercising, maybe sleeping better and getting all those other factors right as well.
You're comparing one group of people who are plant-based, who are potentially making more informed choices about their nutrition because they have to in order to meet the requirements to follow that diet, for every individual like ourselves who does eat meat but also eats vegetables, makes informed choices about what they eat, trains and focuses on the sleep, alongside all those other wampers that are smashing in turkey Twizzlers, Big Macs, wine, smoke 15 a day. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's so many different factors in there that they completely ignore because it's not, doesn't make for good watching. It's not sensationalist.
No, it's not. So that's it. This program was just propaganda, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
100%.
It was just to get people, and it was to go on people's insecurities and get them thinking, and it's done its job really.
Yeah, it's sort of like bit like scaremongering really.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if you eat meat, you're gonna die early.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the statistics they use, they say things like, you're gonna get an increased risk of cancer if you eat meat, like a 17% increase or 25% increase. But if your original chance of developing cancer is 1%, then a 25% increase on that makes it 1.25%.
Yeah, quite.
So
yeah, and also little things they failed to mention, like a lot of these athletes, they built the careers eating meat and then they turned to veganism, and you know, they haven't probably tested it over as long a period as they've tested the meat eating part of their lives when they built the career.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's so false.
But it's like, again, it goes down to like all the other variables as well. It's not, those athletes aren't at the top of their game just because they follow a plant-based diet. Eating plants is not going to make you a superhuman athlete all of a sudden. It's the fact that they've been involved in that sport for how many years?
Yes.
All right, they are genetically predispositioned to be better at that sport than other sports.
Yeah, that's it.
The sleep, recovery, physical therapy.
They've ticked a lot off.
Everything. That is why they're at the top of those sports, not because they eat tofu and cabbage.
Yeah, to be successful and eat a vegan or a plant-based diet, you have got to be pretty clever. You've got to be pretty canny and be able to work out your protein and everything. You know, because a lot of people are going to those sort of diets are eating too many carbohydrates and not getting enough protein. You've got to be a lot more canny, haven't you?
I'm not saying that, like, I'm not bashing vegans or vegetarianism or being plant-based whatsoever, okay? You can eat vegetables and not eat meat and still perform to a high level in sport, still lead a healthy lifestyle, okay? But the same applies to if you eat meat, okay? You can still eat meat and eat vegetables and train and sleep and don't drink as much and be healthier because of it.
Exactly. And that's really what we wanted to talk about today, isn't it?
What is wrong with being balanced?
Yeah.
What is wrong with following a balanced diet?
So exactly. So if you did watch The Game Changed and you came away from it feeling like, oh my God, I need to take all that meat out of my diet, just think about it again and just have a look at some of the things we said and think maybe there was a little bit of bias in there.
Yeah, just question it. You should question
things.
You should question everything you watch when it comes to like documentaries and studies. Just because
a lot of the time there is bias. Yeah.
And meat's well nice.
Yeah.
A good juicy steak. Who wants to miss out on that?
Exactly.
I don't.
No, I don't.